Hello everyone, and welcome to the Email Marketing Platform tutorial series. I'm going to be your host, Trina Waller. I have been a digital marketing consultant for almost a decade now, and during that time I've had the great opportunity to work with a huge variety of marketing platforms. Some of them are way better than others, but I've developed this tutorial series to give you a walkthrough on some of the various platforms out there so that you can take a peek inside and see just how easy or difficult it's going to be for you to set up and get started with these platforms. If you haven't watched it already, this is a follow-up to a previous video that I did on how to choose the best email marketing platform for your business. So if you haven't seen that yet, hop on over to my website, trinawaller.com, and it's hosted in the blog. So again, it's how to choose the best email marketing platform for your business. And I'm going to give you some quick tips on what to look for, the questions you should be asking yourself before you even started. And I've given you some printable worksheets so that you can go through and test and figure out exactly what your needs are before you commit to an email marketing platform. Because believe me, this is a commitment. It is something that you're going to be wanting to commit to for at least 2 or 3 years. So you want to make sure that you are choosing the right platform for you. Now, let's get started. Today, we're going to be going over MailChimp. MailChimp is arguably one of the easier platforms to get started with, and it is one that most people do start with because it's free. Now they do have a paid account options where you do get a few more features than you would with a free account, but MailChimp does allow you to have a significant amount of contacts prior to actually having to pay for your service. So I'm going to walk you through today how to set up your account right from the beginning. So I did try to do this previously with an email address that I was going to be using for this, but the video failed. So I'm going to start by signing up for a MailChimp account with an email address that I constantly tell people not to use, which is a role-based email address. You do not want to be using a role-based email address, but I am going to be using it for this tutorial and this tutorial only because, as I said, I did try to do this previously, and the email address that I used for that recording has already got an email, has a MailChimp account now attached to it, so I cannot show you through signing up with that. So let's get started with our free account. I'm just going to give them my email address and I'm going to choose my username. This is not something that's visible to your audience, so it needs to be something that you're going to remember. I usually just use the exact email address that I use to sign up for or sign up with, because I do actually have a lot of different client accounts that I have access to. So now you'll see that Chrome is suggesting a password for me. I am not going to use that password because I will never remember it. So I'm going to use my own password. And I'm just going to click on Get Started. Now you'll see it's sending me over to my email address to confirm my account, and I am going to save this password. So I'm going to pause this video real quick while I hop on over to my email and confirm my account. Okay, so I've clicked on the link in the email that they sent me, and it has redirected me back to this page where I'm going to confirm that I'm not a robot and that I am in fact human. So I'm just going to click on this button. All right, so now welcome to MailChimp. We're going to tell them a little bit about ourselves. So this is where you're just going to enter in all of your various information. Now, it has been a while since I've set up a new MailChimp account. So some of the things have changed since I've last done this. Now, if you do not have an actual business name, you can just use your own name. This information does show up to your clients, to your recipients, so you do want to make sure that this is something that you want them to see, preferably your name. Do you have a website? Yes, if you have a website, go ahead and put it here. If you do not have a website, you can go ahead and click no and skip this part. Addresses. You do actually have to have a physical address or a PO box in your email marketing. This is a requirement of international anti-spam laws. So don't get freaked out if you get to this step and you go, oh my God, why do I have to put my address here? Now, if you are doing business from home, like I do, you're probably going to want to go out and get a PO box for this purpose. Alternatively, if you're more than comfortable using your home address, then go ahead and do that. But do keep in mind that this information is public to your recipient list. This is as I said, this is a requirement of the international anti-spam laws. This is so that if you screw up and start being all spammy, they can contact you in a way that's not email. So if you don't have an actual address here, you will not be permitted to continue. Now I use a PO box, so I'm going to put that here. And I'm just going to click on continue. Now, if you are just getting started with email marketing, you probably do not have a list of email subscribers. However, I am going to suggest that you set up a couple of different test emails to use as your beginning list. So, and this will be your opportunity to test your various emails and see what they look like in a variety of different platforms and where they come. So you can go through, there are a number of different providers that allow you to set up a free email account. There's Google, there's Hotmail. I believe there's a couple of others off the top of my head. I can't really think of them at this moment, but there are several avenues for you to set up a free email address. And I suggest you go and do that just so that you can take a look, especially if you're creating them in different types of inboxes. So go set up one in Google, go set up one in Hotmail, so that you can see what your emails look like in different inboxes. Now, I do have a small list of subscribers. If you have a list, it does ask you how big your list is. If you have over 2,000 contacts, you will be required to use a paid account. If you have 500 or less, or 2,000 or less, you do qualify for the free account. So I just have a very, very small list of subscribers that I'm going to be using for the purpose of this email or this video. So I'm going to put that. If you're not sure, it will walk you through a different scenario. But now you can also connect your social media, and this is a good idea because it will automatically post any email campaigns to your social feeds. If this is something that you want to be doing, then go ahead and connect your social feeds. And you're just going to click on this button and something is going to pop up asking you to log into your Facebook account or your Google account or your Twitter account and it's going to ask you to give MailChimp permission to post on your behalf. If you want to be doing that, then go ahead and do that. Let's find your marketing path. This is a new feature since the last time I've signed up for a MailChimp account, and I'm not 100% familiar with what they're going to be asking here. So let's go ahead and do this. Do I sell anything online? Yes. Do I support bookings, ticket sales, and appointments online? Yes. Do I want people to talk one-on-one with a person? Yes. Do I make money off the content on my site? No, I do not. Do my customers interact with my business mostly through my software or apps interface? No, they speak with me. I measure success by people buying things from me online, people booking appointments, people reaching out directly. This is usually how I measure my success. I'm interested to know how they're going to put all of that together. So Grow my audience with our recommended bundle, landing page, a lookalike audience founder, pop-up form. Okay, so this starts for as little as $10 per month for up to 500 contacts. This is not something I want to be doing right now, so I'm going to click on not right now. All right, I'm ready to go. Want to kickstart your MailChimp skills? Subscribe to What's in Store, a bi-weekly newsletter of e-commerce stories, tips, and experimentation. Now, if you are beginning with email marketing, I do suggest you sign up for this for a little while, just to give you an idea. The more ideas you get on how to be a successful email marketer, the better your chances of being successful with your email marketing. So go ahead and subscribe to this for a little while. You can unsubscribe at any time, but it does have a lot of valuable information in it on how to get the best responses to your emails. So go ahead and sign up for that for just a little bit, but of course it's completely optional. I am not going to subscribe to it because I have received this campaign a million times before. So I'm just going to click on Let's Go. All right, my list is now my audience. Okay, so this is new. MailChimp used to refer to your lists as lists, and now it looks to be that they've renamed it as audience. So I'm just going to click on OK. Okay, let's get started. Connect my store. So if you have an online store, you can connect your website through Shopify, through WooCommerce, through BigCommerce. I'm going to skip this step because I actually have my store connected to a different email marketing platform. So I don't want to do this with you. But if you are using these things, then what you're going to have to do is install the plugin for MailChimp into your various platforms. And they do have more integrations. So if you click on View All Integrations, you'll see some of their more options available to you. So if you're not using Shopify or WooCommerce or BigCommerce, they do have other options available to you for various integrations. Now, I don't need to connect my store. What I do want to do is add my contacts. I'm going to skip this connecting the store thing. I will do designing an email later. I want to add my contacts, and I'm going to import them from a file. This is, now, as I mentioned, this is a sample for a list of email sample email addresses. Sorry, I'm tripping over my words there. And you'll see that they do require you to have them in a CSV or tab delimited text file. If you are less than tech savvy, you're probably not familiar with what this means. This is just a variation of an Excel spreadsheet is what it comes down to. So I'm going to click on the CSV tab, and then we're going to hop over to my Excel file where I've got my sample addresses. I'm going to show you real quick how to convert this into a CSV file. It is super, super simple. So this is my list. I'm just going to click on File, and I'm going to click on Save As. And it automatically populates the name. And see in this second bar here, it says that it's an Excel workbook, an XLSX file format. So I'm just going to click on this drop down arrow. Oh, I think I've had too much coffee today. And you'll see we have a .csv file here, but it's a UTF-8. We don't want this one. We want to find the next one, which is just CSV, comma delimited CSV file. So we're going to click on this one, and we can keep everything the same, and we're going to just click on Save, and it will automatically convert it to a CSV file. Now I can close this down, and you'll see there's now another icon on my desktop that looks a little bit different than the one down here. This is the CSV file. This is the Excel file. So we're going to go back to MailChimp here. So I'm selected CSV or tab delimited text file, and I'm going to continue to set up. And I'm just going to click on Browse. And this is on my desktop. So I'm going to sample addresses here. Just going to open that up. And I'm going to click down here in the right, continue to match. So it asks you, it requires you to match the fields in your database to fields within MailChimp for your audience. Now you'll see that some of these are pre-matched into the merge fields. And merge fields are just the way that different platforms control your data. Organize your data. So you'll see that in my Excel spreadsheet, I had first name, last name, email address, phone number, and lead type. The majority of these are already pre-matched. So first name has been matched to first name, last name has been matched to last name, email address, phone number has been matched to phone number, despite there not being any numbers in the list. Now, you'll see on this one, it says unmatched column, which means that this column doesn't exist within MailChimp, but we can create it. So we're going to click on edit there. It's going to ask me to make a selection, and I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to create a new field. Lead type, and it's going to be a text. Now, hold on a second here. Now, this is how I segment my list. So this is why I'm checking to make sure that sometimes when you're segmenting your list, you can segment it by a specific column type, a specific field type, a group type, or tags. And how it's done depends on the platform. Historically, MailChimp has not been very good at segmenting lists. So I'm interested to see how they're going to do with their recent updates. So I'm going to continue on with creating a new field for this. And it is going to be a text type field. If you click on this drop-down arrow, you'll see you have a variety of different types of field types. And we'll get into field types in a few minutes, but I'm just going to create this as a text field. And it's going to be a lead type. And I'm just going to save that. And now I'm going to continue to review, and it's going to automatically import. And one of the great things about MailChimp is that it does verify, gives you a verification process. So you'll see I've got a check mark by the import method. I've got a check mark beside importing 5 of 5 columns. It can create a tag for all of my imported contacts. I don't need to do that right now because this is just, but maybe I will do that actually. This is my sample list. Now, status of imported contacts. This is an important one. Just because you have an email address does not mean that they have subscribed to your list. So these email addresses are test email addresses, so I am going to keep them as subscribed. But if you are uploading a list of your contacts that have not actually confirmed that they want to receive marketing materials from you, then you are probably going to want to put them as non-subscribed, okay? Because you want to make sure that you always have express consent from your recipients. Just because somebody has a published email address, just because somebody has handed you a business card with their email address, does not give you permission to send them marketing emails. Do make sure that you are familiarizing yourself with the anti-spam laws and legislations in your area prior to sending out a list or sending out a bunch of emails to a bunch of subscribers that don't know who you are and haven't actually consented to receive your email. Consent is important, guys, not just in life. In email marketing, it is 100% important. The less people that you have on your list that don't want to be there, the better. So do make sure that you are following good practices when it comes to anti-spam legislation. So back to MailChimp, sync with existing contents. This is a cool feature. Like if you get subscribers, say you do an event and you have people sign up on a piece of paper and then you go in and input these email addresses later. Say somebody comes to your events multiple times, you don't want to be creating multiple contacts for them. So this allows you to update your existing contacts with any new information that is on that list. So it goes through your list and figures out who's there already and updates their information. So once we've gone through this list, we're just going to click on import. And you'll see 4 contacts have been updated or added, which is great. And now we can take a look at my list. You'll see that it actually automatically added my email address to my list as well. And this is a good thing because it does allow you to send emails to yourself without sending them to somebody else. So you'll see in my list, now all of a sudden I've got prospect types, lead types, and this is how I'm going to segment my list. So everything looks good here. The first thing that you want to do after you've signed up for your email account with MailChimp, is you want to be creating your sign-up forms. MailChimp does do things a little bit differently. This is sign-up forms is done from within your audience tab. So you'll see sign-up forms are right here. So we're going to click on sign-up forms. Now, MailChimp, one of the things that is lacking in MailChimp is the ability for you to create different forms for different purposes. So if you have a requirement to have people sign up to your list in a variety of different ways, MailChimp is probably not going to be the best option for you because they do have one single form that you will use in a variety of different locations, but it's all the same form. So any changes that you make to that form, say you have 2 different lead magnets that you want people to be able to sign up for, you're not going to be able to do that from within MailChimp because they do require you to use the exact same form for everything. But we do get some flexibility over that with the form builder here. So I'm going to click on the form builder. Now this is what allows people to sign up to your list. This is what people see. So if we scroll down a little bit, we've got a couple of different tabs up here. We've got to build it, design it, translate it. So the first thing we're going to want to do is build it. And building requires some thought into how you're going to be managing your list. You want to be always getting at least a name. When like an email address is always going to be required, but you also want to be making sure that you are asking for a name because it's going to make things a hell of a lot easier to personalize if you know who you're talking to. You do need to remember that the people that are receiving your emails are actual people. And as people, we like it when people refer to us by our names. So this is going to create a little bit more success for you. So if you're considering not asking for first names, don't even. Make sure that you're always asking for at least a first name, preferably first and last. Now you'll see on this form, it also has an address field, but if you look in, the background is blue and it's got hidden stamped across it. You set up the fields that you require for your audience within the form builder. And MailChimp does this a little bit differently than every other platform out there. So you do kind of create all of your fields on this form, and then you determine which ones you want your audience to see. So the address field is hidden, the phone number field is hidden. All of the rest of the information is visible to your recipients when they subscribe to your list. A really great recommendation here, guys, is to limit the amount of information you require upon sign up. And the reason for that is really simple. The easier you make it for somebody to get on your list, the more likely they are to subscribe. If you ask me for a bunch of information when I don't even know who you are, the odds are I'm not going to continue on with that sign up. So if you're asking me, for my email address, my first name, my last name, that's all fine and dandy. But if you're asking me for my birthday, I'm going to be a little bit suspect. Unless you're actually, unless I'm signing up for something that has to do with my actual birthday, I don't want to give you that information. So I'm going to show you quickly how to make this information hidden. So I just click on the field and I'm going to scroll up over here, and we've got a field label, a field tag, the date format, whether or not it's a required field, and we've got field visibility here. We don't want this one it's currently visible. We want to make it hidden. Tracking the birthday information of your recipients of your list is a good idea, especially if you are, say, a service-based business that provides discounts for birthdays, or you want to be able to send your list a personalized birthday wish on their birthday. Then go ahead and track their birthday, but don't make it a requirement to sign up. You can get that information from them later. So once we've changed it to hidden, I'm going to save the field. So you do want to think about anything else that you want to be tracking about your audience. Now, again, the lead type that we created when we started this list is here on this form, but I don't want it to be there, even though I still want to track it. So I'm going to change it to hidden, and I'm just going to save it. Now you'll see here, let's quickly go over these. The field label is lead type, and that is the label that shows up. Okay, the field tag, this is the tag that you will use to personalize your emails. So if you're creating a field, you want to be creating a field tag that is going to allow you to remember what that tag or what that field pulls in. You'll see it automatically defaults to mmerge6. This isn't going to be something that I'm going to remember what this is for. So I'm just going to quickly change this to lead type. And you'll see as I'm typing, it automatically creates it in capitals, and it doesn't allow me to put a space in between the words. See, I'm going to click here. I'm going to type the space bar, and it automatically removes that space and puts it back in there. So you want to make sure that your field tags are all one word, and they're easy for you to know what they are. You don't have to remember them, but you do have MailChimp. I'll show you in a little bit. MailChimp does allow you to pull those field tags from a list. So you want to make sure that you're remembering what these are for. I do not want to make this a required field. I do want to keep this hidden. Now, help text is obviously, it's the text that you would put in to help somebody figure out what that field is for and what they should be putting there. Because this isn't a visible field, I don't need help text. But what I do want to put is a default merge tag value. So a default merge tag value is something that would be put in this field in the absence of an entry. So because this is going to be a hidden field, and this is going to be something that I'm going to control, I'm going to put the default merge tag value. If you remember, I put this lead type as prospects, leads, and clients. So I'm going to put this as prospect. And then I'm just going to click on save. So what if we want to be adding tracking more information about our audience that isn't currently available? Then we're going to have to go and add a field. You see we've got a bunch of buttons here and a bunch of different field types. So we've got text, number, radio buttons, check boxes, drop down date, birthday, address, zip code, phone, website, image. Now, I like to track the website information of my audience. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this. And you'll see it's automatically populated to the bottom of the list. I don't want it down there. I'm going to move it. I'm going to just click on it and drag it up here. And again, we've got a field label of website. We've got a merge tag, a field tag of mmerge7. I'm going to change that to website. I still don't want this to be a required field, but this is something that I want to be tracking. I am going to keep it visible. I'm going to put the help text of, if you have a website, please let me know what it is. And I don't want to have a default merge tag here. So I'm just going to save this field. Now, if there's something else that you want to be tracking about your audience, then this is where you're going to create it. You're going to add a field for it. So something else that I do like to track about my audience is which email marketing platforms they're using. This information allows me to service my customers and my clients a hell of a lot better than if I didn't have this information. These are questions that I ask all the time. So this is some information that I do want to be tracking. So There are a variety of different platforms out there, so I don't want to be able to choose just one. Radio buttons does allow your audience to choose just one option. Check boxes will allow your audience to choose more than one option. A drop-down menu will allow you to choose more than one option, but your audience has to be kind of tech savvy about it because they have to use a control click to choose multiple options. So I do advise against using a drop down unless you know that your audience is going to know how to use and select more than one. So I'm just going to create a checkbox field. And again, you'll scroll down to the bottom of the form and see it here. It's group category 2365, group name 1. This is not something that I want my audience to be seeing, and this doesn't give me any information about what I'm tracking here. So I'm going to change the field label to types of, email marketing platforms used. You see, I've got some options here. I'm just going to change the group name, and checkboxes does segment your list into various groups, providing you give that the option. Give them a variety of options. So MailChimp, I'm going to add an option. Add an option. So that's just to give you an idea of some of the ways that you can use the different forms. Now, unfortunately, MailChimp does not give you a whole lot of option to change the wording on the subscribe form. So this is one of the things that drives me crazy about MailChimp is that subscribe is such a boring word to use when you're asking people to give you their email address. It's very, very overused, and it's not inclined to get people to click the button. So if you do have the option to change this with a paid account, then go ahead and do that. Make it something way more enticing than just subscribe. But like I said, the free account does not permit you to do this. So we're already at over 30 minutes into this video, and I do want to try and keep these to about an hour. So I'm going to quickly go over a couple of different things with the form designer. So if we scroll back up, we're in Build It right now, where we've determined our fields, which fields we're going to be tracking about our audience. Now, if we click over to Design It, it does give you some options to design your form. Now, if you look, this is kind of a boring, ugly form. We can add a quick little message here, but our design options are fairly limited. So I do suggest that you add a quick little message and try to keep it both as personal and as general as possible, because like I said, this is the same form that your entire list is going to see, because MailChimp doesn't allow you to create different lists for different purposes or different sign-up forms for different purposes. So this does have to be a fairly generic message, but you can just click on this and it will pop up a little content editor where you can just put in something to get your subscribers, to entice them to sign up. So let them know what they're going to be getting. And you can change the font a little bit. You do have some design options. You can add some merge tags. But I'm just want to go over this really, really quickly because I want to be focusing on creating and designing your emails without having this video be 2.5 hours long. So now this is the background of the form, and this is the body of the form. So we're going to take a look. We're in Design It. We've got a couple of different options here. We've got the page, the body, forms, monkey rewards. And underneath of these, we have different options. So under the page, we've got background, we've got header, we've got outer wrapper. So the background is this information here. I did change this to this current number, but you'll see the changes aren't reflected. What you do have to do it to get them to change, to see this isn't a visible difference. So you're going to be changing these things and you're not going to see the changes. Do not get frustrated. You'll have to back out and then go back in. So I did do that off camera just to verify that that is the case. So we can use an image instead. So if you have a logo image, you can add some files. I don't want to do that quite yet, but you can add your logo image here. You can have it just text. The outer wrapper is currently set to none, and I'm not 100% sure. Okay. It is a number, a hex code color is what it should be. There we go. So now you'll see that changes reflected there. Now I am just picking some random colors and doing some random things so that you can see what you can change within the form builder, which isn't a whole lot. So on the body, the foreground, default text, and link style. So if you add a link into your message, it will, you have some flexibility on how you do that. Forms. Now the buttons, I want this button. I don't want it to go ugly gray here. So I have set it to be this. Now, to reflect these changes, you have to back out of the form builder, and you can do that by clicking on any of these tabs up in the top, or you can click on the monkey head to go to your main dashboard page. I'm just going to click on the monkey head, and you'll see it gives me a quick account setup checklist, but I don't want to go through the rest of that right now. I'm going to go back into audience, and it gives me a little bit of information on my audience here. I don't need to pay attention to that right now because this is a brand new account. I'm going to go over here to manage audience, click on this, and I'm going to go to sign up forms to get back to where I was with the form builder. Again, I'm going to click on the form builder. And now you should see, no, it has not reflected yet. Okay. I'm going to skip that for now. Do play with your design. Translate it does allow you to translate your form into a different language. So if you have an audience that has a variety of different languages, you can use this feature. I've never used it, but it does give you some flexibility with your audience. So let's go back up here to forms and response emails. There are a variety of different things that you can change and alter for your needs. Now, do not be overwhelmed by this list because you don't have to customize each and every one of these forms or response emails. You do need to go and make changes to the ones that you will be using. So the main sign up form is the one that you want to be making alterations to. If you are using a double opt-in, you're probably going to want to change the confirmation thank you page and the final welcome email. Actually, you do want to be making some changes to the thank you page as well. This is the page that people will see once they've subscribed. And we're still on translate it. So we've selected confirmation thank you page. Do pay attention here, guys, because whatever tab we've left off is where we're going to start on the next form or response email that we're trying to edit. So if you're scrolling down and you're looking at this and you're going, how do I edit this? Just scroll back up and click on build it. Okay, so now this is what the thank you page is going to look like when somebody subscribes to my list. Now, this is our first experience with merge tags within content. So you'll see it automatically adds this little tag here, which gives them the list information. Do change your thank you page. Alternatively, if you have a website, you can host your thank you page on your website and create a completely customized thank you page, and you would just enter the URL for that here rather than using the standard thank you page from within MailChimp. So on the thank you page, same as the form builder, you can go in and change this information. So it currently says subscription confirmed. How bland and boring is that? We want to thank them. So do be a little bit creative. With your thank you pages and make them feel welcome. And also give them any steps, any other steps that they need to take. So with email marketing, it is always a good idea that you inform people that your emails may be going to spam or promotions and that they should be checking there first. So we're just going to add that. We just want to remind them to check their promotions and spam folders, because this does happen even to the best of us. We have very, very limited control over where the emails end up when it comes to deliverability. So we do want to remind people to check their promotions folders, check their spam folders, and ask them to whitelist your email address. There are a variety of different ways that they can do that, and it is dependent upon their inbox and their email provider on how they do that. So you can't necessarily give them instructions on how to do that, but a foolproof way is to just ask them to add your email address to their contact list. That way your emails will always end up in their inbox, but this doesn't guarantee anything. It's just a request, and it should be worded as such. So now this is saved. Again, you can go through the design it and change a couple of things in terms of the design. A couple of other things that you should be watching out for and making some changes to is the unsubscribe form, the goodbye email. I don't recommend you send a goodbye email once somebody's unsubscribed. If they've unsubscribed from you, your emails, they probably don't want to receive another email from you. So you can safely ignore this one. Your update profile email, go ahead and change that. But none of this is a requirement, because most of this is automatically set. Now, these ones down here are a little bit new. The automation landing page, this is a new feature of MailChimp that I haven't had any experience with yet. So I'm going to go ahead and click that because I want to see what it's like. Again, we're still on the design it section. Well, this is interesting. This really doesn't tell me what this does. Now, if you don't have a website, you're probably going to need to change this. Change where this link goes to. So now, do take some time and take a peek through these various forms and response emails so that you can get a good idea of what you should be changing and what you can probably ignore. Quick overview. If you're requiring reCAPTCHA confirmation in your signups, go ahead and change this. Confirmation thank you page, make sure you're changing your confirmation thank you page. A final welcome email, this is an automatic email that is sent on your behalf if you require a double opt-in. Unsubscribe success page, go ahead and change that. Profile update email, these are all things that don't need to be done immediately, but should be done at some point, but they're not a requirement for getting started. Now let's go over to sending an email. I want to go over that with you really, really quickly so that you're not confused. Templates. You can create a template. MailChimp does have a vast array of various email templates, but it currently says that I don't have any saved templates. So let's create one. Here we go. So now we've got some starting points for our template. So this is, MailChimp does have a large list of different templates that you can use. We've got just some layouts. We've got themes. So go ahead and play around with all of these different things and figure out which one is going to be the best for you. These themes and various templates are really, really handy to throw some creativity ideas at you. Please make sure that you are editing them though. Don't just throw in a template and use it word for word. This is just to give you an idea of what your emails can look like and the different things that you can create within MailChimp. You'll see I'm still scrolling. There are still lots and lots. All the way down here, there seems to be a fair amount of new templates since I have taken a peek as well. So if you want to create your own template, I do suggest that you start with creating a couple of different templates for a couple of different purposes. So you see they've got some featured templates layouts here. One for you to sell your products or make an announcement, tell a story, follow up, or educate. And we've also got a one-column email, one full-width email, one column, two-column email, 1 to 2 columns full width. 1 to 1 columns. So there are a variety of options, and it can become a little bit overwhelming when you are designing an email. So let's just start with a 1 column full width email. I'm just going to click on that and it's going to throw me into the template automatically. And they do give you a brief little introduction on how to do this. So they've given you some links, see what other MailChimp users are using, or learn more about email design and blaze your own trail. Go ahead and click on those links, see what other people are doing. Now, this is what your email looks like. Clicking on any element in the left-hand side will open that element on the right-hand side. You'll see there's a little divider here. Once I've made any changes that I want to make in here, I'm just going to save and close. You'll do note, I'll click that again so you can see, they're going to auto save for you every 20 seconds. So don't worry about saving constantly because MailChimp does do it on your behalf. Now, within the designer here, I can click on any element in here and I can just delete all of it. Gone. I throw some sample text in here. So I can give you a quick overview of the various different things. So this is the header. If we don't want the header, we can go and change. See, it's currently set to heading. We can change it to default text. And we've got some different font sizes here. And you can change the font. Now, MailChimp has integrated custom web fonts. While it may be a good idea, or you may think it is a good idea to be using these various fonts, do keep in mind that this is dependent on the web browser and the inbox that people are using on whether or not these fonts are displayed. So if your design elements rely heavily on font choice, you do want to be sticking with these standard web fonts rather than using the custom web fonts because these aren't always going to display on the recipient end. Now we see we can add some merge tags here. We spoke a little bit about merge tags in the form builder. So we've got we've got a cheat sheet. So if you're unsure of what merge tags you want to be using, go ahead and check out the cheat sheet, print it out if you need to. I kept my cheat sheet printed on the side of my desk for a lot of years. Now I just have them mostly memorized. So if we scroll through this, what it doesn't actually give you, which is really, really weird, is how to put somebody's name in here. Now, again, if you open the cheat sheet, it will open up in a new browser window. But for the most part, MailChimp's merge tags are surrounded by an asterisk and a line. And F name is for first name, L name is for last name. Open up your cheat sheet and take a peek at the various different things. But once I'm done editing the content, I can click on over to style. Okay, so we can change the different, we can globally change the font from that for this content element. We can change the font size, we can change the line height. See, I can create double spacing, and it does allow you to apply this to all existing text blocks. Now, what if I wanted to make the background of this colored? Well, that is where MailChimp kind of goes, no, you have to use a different text box. So we would have to use a boxed text for that. And to add a new content element, all you're doing is clicking on it and dragging it over to the area that you want. See, this is a boxed text box. It is now in a black background. And now we can go over to the style menu or style part of it, and we can change the background color. It does give you some various options, and it allows you to put the hex code in or an RGB code. So whatever color codes you're more comfortable in, go ahead and use that. Okay, now I've changed it to blue. Again, we can apply it to all different text blocks. So there are a variety of different text content blocks that you can add. So a regular text box, that's this one, a boxed text block that allows you to create a colored background, a divider, it's just a divider line. You can change the color of it. An image group, an image card, image and caption, social sharing, social following, buttons, footer, code. If you have a little code snippet that you want to add to your email, then you would use this part here. And video. Do keep in mind, if you want to add video to your emails, you are required to use the URL and redirect it. You should not be embedding any videos into your email at all. This makes the email way too big. So it just pulls a screenshot from YouTube or Vimeo and redirects, opens up the video on that platform. Now, if you notice, I didn't actually add any content to this block, but it still kept it there. So do keep that in mind, guys, that if you're not putting content into your content blocks, do delete them because they will show up on your emails. So this is just an overview of a template. Now, my save and exit button is down here on the right underneath my timer. It does require me to save my template. So I'm just going to give this template 1. So there's a quick overview on templates. Let's jump over into creating your first email and sending your first email. We're going to do that in campaigns. I'm going to click on campaigns. See, I've got no campaigns yet. I'm going to click on this Create a Campaign button. So there are a couple of different things that you can create from within the campaigns function of MailChimp. We can create emails, ads, landing page, postcards, and sign-up forms. Today, we're just going to be covering off on emails, okay? So I'm just going to click on email. Now, it's given me a couple of different options. We can create a regular email, an automated email, a plain text email, or an A/B test. Now, I'm only going to be covering these two today, a regular email and an automated email. A regular email allows you to just send this email out whenever. So if you have an idea that you want to send to your list right now, you're going to want to create a regular email. This is a one-time email thing. Doesn't go automatically. It is manually sent. Versus an automated email, which would be an automated email campaign. So you would create a series of different emails set to go at certain intervals or based on certain interactions. I'm going to cover off on the automated emails today. So if you click on the automated part, you'll see you've got a couple of different options. You've got some featured templates. We can welcome new subscribers, say happy birthday. See, this is where you want to be tracking birthdays. Share some blog updates. Now, we can set various automation templates here. We've got featured, we've got tags, we've got subscriber activity, we've got some e-commerce, we've got date-based, we've got some API activity. Today, I'm going to stick with the welcoming new subscribers because we've just started this campaign. So this email platform. So we do want to make sure that we are welcoming our new subscribers. So this is just a welcome message. I click on the welcome and I'm going to begin. Now, this is what the automation interface looks like from within MailChimp. I have mentioned before that the automation within MailChimp is limited. There are certain limitations that you can do, there are certain limitations to what you can do, sorry. So they call it a workflow, and you use a recipe to create your workflow. So this is a welcome message workflow. This is the list name that it's going to. The trigger, one day after subscribers join my email list. I want to edit this because I don't want it to send a day after. I want it to send the same day. So I want to change this to immediately. And then I also want to trigger when subscribers are imported because this is a welcome email. So depending on what you're sending out, you're going to want to change this a little bit, but you'll see it is very, very limited. So we can change or create a new trigger. You can't send it based on a previous email because it cannot be the first trigger, but MailChimp is fairly intuitive in the sense that they will give you information on what you can and cannot do. So if you want to be doing something, they'll say, nah, you can't do that in our program or platform. But I don't want to change the subscriber. So I'm going to keep this to sending immediately, and also triggering when subscribers are imported. And I'm just going to click on update trigger up here in the right-hand corner. Now, this is the actual email. The schedule is sent to every day, all day. Filter by segment or tag, none. Post, send, action, none. Without knowing what else we're going to be sending these people, we can't really change this. But we can add another email here. So this is just designing the automation part of MailChimp. But first we want to create our welcome email. So once we've done this, we're going to click over here and click on design email. And again, we're going to want to name our email. This is the internal name for this email. Your subscribers are never going to see this, so you can name it whatever the hell you want. This is for internal information only. The next line is the subject line. They've got some tips on how to write a good subject line. Go ahead and read through those. I do have some content on my own website about how to write a good subject line as well. And then MailChimp does have emoji support, so you can add different things, and you just have to click on the little happy face over here. So I'm going to use completely boring text language for all of these tutorials here. Preview text. So this is the snippet that appears in an inbox after the subject line. Do not leave this empty. Do give your subscribers a better idea of what they're going to be getting when they open their email. This should be your opportunity to give it a second good push to encourage them to open. Don't be bland and boring. Your subject line, your preview text, these are things that need your attention. You need to be spending a little bit more time in creativity creating these things for your audience to entice them to open. This is preview text. Now, the from name, you'll see that it just automatically populated my first name. I want people to recognize me immediately based on my website and the branding that I have created. So, and just having my first name isn't going to do that for new subscribers. New subscribers probably didn't pay much attention. I know this, and I am telling you this, that don't rely on somebody signing up to your opt-in remembering who you are or why they've signed up. So you do want to remind them who you are and what they're going to be getting. So I always suggest including your first name, your last name, and your business name in the from line of your emails, and make sure that your from email address is the same one that they can reply to. Once we've done setting this up, I'm going to click over here on the bottom right corner and click on next. It's going to bring me to the templates. So again, you can create your own template from right within the automation interface. You can choose themes, which we've already previewed in the templates, and you can use your saved templates. So if you design a template for use in your business, in all of your emails, go ahead and create a template for it and then import it from this interface. Once you click on the template that you're going to be using, it is exactly the same as our previous screen, where you just go in and add various information. So your logo information, you upload your images directly into MailChimp. And again, you're going to go in and click on the content block. You're going to change the various information and text. Again, for using merge tags, do check out their cheat sheet. Member data, this list does have the first name, last name, the basic information, and you'll see it does pull in the form data that I created. So this is just a test email today to show you the various things. I'm going to save and close that text block. Now you'll see in the footer, this is the footer area here. And if I click on this, we get a little warning. We may automatically add your contact info into the footer block. Contact information is required in all campaigns to comply with the CAN-SPAM Act and international spam laws. So this information is required. Deleting it is never a good idea. This is why it's auto-populated in your emails automatically, regardless of which template you use. This information is always going to be here. What you can do, however, is change how it's displayed. So if it automatically adds a copyright set for the current year and your company name. So whatever you put in your company, your business name in the beginning steps, this is what it's going to pull into these different merge tags. And it does give some information on the archive page and the description, the list description, which we didn't, I noticed that I'm just now realizing that we didn't cover off on that. And it does pull in your mailing address. So this is where your address information comes into play. This is also required. Updating your preferences or unsubscribing from your list. Removing this information is not allowed. Every email that you send must have an unsubscribe link. In deleting it, it never used to allow you to delete it. Do keep in mind here, guys, that if you've done something and you've screwed it up, there is no undo button in MailChimp. So I've deleted the unsubscribe link, but it's not allowing me to pull it back, which is a little bit weird. Anyways, so once we've done this, we can again click Save and Continue. And it brings us back to the workflow. So we've set our first email. Now we can set our second email. So again, we've got to set the trigger. 1 day after subscribers sent the previous email, we can edit this because I don't want to be sending every day. I want to send every 3 days. Now you'll notice there is a limitation here. You cannot set this for a specific date. The only thing you can do is go in on the schedule every day, all day. You can send it on a specific day, and you can send it at a specific time or only between specific times, but you cannot set a specific date. So if you have an email campaign that it needs to go out on, let's say, May 4th, what you really, really need to do is do some math and try your best to figure it out. Again, this is a huge limitation of MailChimp, and I do hope that they've changed that in the future, but it doesn't look likely that they're going to be incorporating that. So if you require extensive automation capabilities, MailChimp is probably not going to be your best option. But it does give you an idea of what you may want to be doing in the future. So it is a good starter platform. Now, designing the second email, I'm going to just quickly throw some crap in here. Again, you'll see it's just populated my name, but I want to make sure that I'm using my full name and my business in all of my from names. So I'm going to make sure that I actually add that every time. And again, I'm going to click next. So this is the same process that we went through for the first email. You're going to change or select your templates. And I'm not going to do anything to this one either. I am just going to save and continue. Okay, so now for the purpose of this video, I'm just going to leave this as this right now so we can show you real quickly what happens next. So my emails are all set up, my triggers are all set up. I think this is ready to send out. So what now? Now I'm going to go and click on confirm, or I'm going to go over here and click on next. Now at any time you're working on these and you want to back out and you just want to click on save and exit, and it does allow you to decide where you want to go, but saves your campaign without actually sending it. So this allows you to work on your campaign while you're working on it and not send it until you're ready to send it. But for the purpose of this video, this campaign is ready to send. So I'm going to click on next. And it's going to bring me to the confirmation page. So again, MailChimp is pretty handy with the check marks. It tells me which audience I'm going to be sending, what I'm tracking, what emails it contains. Everything's got check marks. And then I'm just going to click on start sending. It gives me a little warning. You're about to start this workflow, which contains 2 emails to Trina Waller Redemption Marketing. Yes. Okay, so MailChimp is kind of cheesy with its monkey references. We've got a little monkey thumb here, or monkey rock on sign here. I think it's kind of cute and endearing, but a lot of people find it cheesy. So now this is confirmation that this has been sent. So we can choose to see another campaign or create another automation or go back to campaigns. Let's go back to campaigns. Now, this is a sending email marketing campaign. It will send out as soon as things allow, as soon as it propagates, it'll go out immediately to my list. Now, once it's done that, we'll have a quick overview of some opens and some clicks. But what happens if we've just sent this and we go, oh shit, I forgot to add something, or I want to add another email, or whatever, if there's an issue. So what we can do, just clicking on it just brings us to the report. It doesn't actually bring us to the individual emails. So what we need to do, see, it's automatically highlighted reports. We got to go back to campaigns. And over here on this portion here where it says view report, there's a drop-down arrow right beside it. If we click on the drop-down arrow, we can edit, we can replicate, or we can archive it. So we've made some changes. I want to make some changes to this. I got to edit it. Now, if this is an email that is already created, then you have to pause the entire campaign and edit the email, which you have the option here, pause and edit, pause and edit. Or we can just add another email. So again, you're going to go through the same thing. Now, one of the things that I want you to pay attention to here is that in these campaigns, I have empty logo images, I have empty video boxes, but you'll notice that MailChimp has not given me any sort of warning whatsoever that I have standardized text in any of these emails. So you do want to watch extra careful when you are creating an automated campaign for these things. And I'll show you the difference in a regular email because MailChimp doesn't allow you to send it with that information not changed. So we've added the extra email to the campaign. I can just click on start this email and it will throw it into the campaign. But what if I wanted to edit this particular email? Then I have to click pause and edit. Now, do keep in mind that once you've edited this email, if it's already gone out to subscribers, luckily this one has not quite yet, if it's already gone out, it doesn't backdate. So if you've made changes to this welcome email, the people that have already received it aren't going to see those changes. You also can't add them back into this campaign. So do keep that in mind. Now, once everything is done, if I've paused all the emails, it does give me the option to resume all emails, which I'm just going to do there. And once I'm done, I can save and exit. I can send a test email. So if you want to see what something looks like before you send it out, send yourself a test email, and it does allow you to send them to a variety of different email addresses. You can also include a personalized message, just letting everybody know that you want their feedback if you're sending this to more than one person. I'm just going to send this to myself to see what they look like, and it's going to send me all 3 emails all at once. So I'm going to save and exit, and I'm going to go back to campaigns here. So let's say I want to send out an actual email right now to my list because I have something so exciting that I want to talk to them about. I'm just going to click on email again. I'm going to click on regular. I'm just going to click on begin. Now you'll see this is an entirely different interface than the one for the automation. So we're going to be able to set everything from within this interface. Who am I sending this to? Choose an audience. I can change it to this one, and I want to change it to all subscribers in the audience. Now, MailChimp does give you some tips here, so make sure that you're reading them. I want to personalize the to field. So this is what shows up. If you click on this, it will show you. Why did that open up like that? Okay, the from. I want to edit the from because again, it's only showing my first name. I want it to show my entire name and my business name. And now we go and add the subject line. What is the subject line? So from within this interface, we add the subject line and the preview text. And we just click on this and I can add some emojis. Now, don't go overkill with the emojis. 1 or 2 is fine. Adding more than that because they don't show up on everybody's email inboxes. So you don't want to be getting all overkill, and don't be replacing words with emojis either because they do not always show up. So if you're using an emoji in place of an actual word, your audience that doesn't have emoji support is going to be a little bit confused. And again, we're going to set the preview text. Now, what if you want to be adding some personalization? There's no option for adding the merge tags. So you do have to make sure that you have that cheat sheet available to you, and a quick Google search will bring it up. MailChimp also has a great support knowledge base, so do check that out. I happen to have most of the ones that I use most frequently memorized because, as I mentioned in the beginning of this video, I have been working in these platforms for so many years that this is second nature to me. So I've set the preview text, I've set the subject line, and I'm just going to save that. Now, content, design the content for my email. I'm just going to click over here and design the email. And I'm going to use the exact same template that I used in the automation campaigns. And I'm not going to change a damn thing. I'm just going to leave it exactly as it is, and I'm going to click Save and Close. Now you'll see that I've added this here. Got some little warnings here. They're going to add the Monkey Rewards badge to my footer. They're going to create a plain text version of this email, so it will be included automatically for those people that sign up and don't have HTML options set for their emails, and those people do exist, guys. So make sure that you're always setting your plain text versions. They're making a recommendation of setting a default logo to make sure all of my emails are branded. If you're not sure how to do that, click on the Learn How, and you'll add it to your campaigns. So go ahead and do that. Now, if we scroll down a little bit, we can share the campaign link. You can click on this to create your custom URL. You can add a social post to your campaign by connecting to Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Now, we can edit the settings and tracking. But I'm going to go ahead and just send this now. Now, if you scroll back, if you look up at the top of the page here, it says my email campaign is ready to send. It's currently a draft. I can choose to finish this later. I can choose to schedule it for a later date, or I can choose to send. For right now, I'm going to send it. I'm about to send a campaign to these people. I'm going to send now. Huh. Okay. So, since the last time I have worked in MailChimp, it seems that they have disabled a very key feature, which lets you know that you have placeholder text in your emails. This did not actually permit me to do that. So, or it didn't give me that information, but it does, like, it's got the high five here. So this will go out shortly. It's going to be sent out to my 5 subscribers in my redemption marketing list. I can view or share my campaign here. I can track the performance in your mobile app. I don't want to do that, but if you want to be updating or checking in on your email marketing through MailChimp, you can download their mobile app. We've got some new features here to me. These are different paid services. So I don't need to do that. Now, how do we view the information? How do we view reports on our emails once they've sent out? How do we know this has gone out? How do we know anybody's opened it? How do we know how it's performing? We can go over and do that. So if we go click back on campaigns, there are a couple of ways that we can do that. So you'll see this is a regular email campaign who has been sent. We've got 0 opens, 0 clicks, because I haven't opened it yet. This is just me sending it to my sample list. We've got a welcome message. This is an automated campaign. And you can see it's an automated campaign because it's got this little circled arrows here. So you can't really tell much difference between an automated campaign and a regular campaign from within the campaigns interface. Sadly, this is one of the features of MailChimp that is seriously lacking. So I want to check the reports of this. I'm just going to click on View Report. I can also replicate it if I want to send this out again. You can't go in and add more people to this once it's been sent, though. So I want to view the report. You can also click on Reports up above, and it will take you to this page. So we can see from within the reports interface, we've got an overview, we've got activity, but if we just scroll down, we can see successful deliveries, 5, 100% success rate. Now, I can't tell you because I haven't looked yet where these emails ended up, whether they're ended up in my inbox or in my spam folders. I'm not sure yet. But we can see that it was successfully delivered, but with a very, very sad open rate of 0%. Now I'm going to pause this video real quick, and I'm going to jump over to my inbox and take a peek, and we'll see these numbers change. Okay, I have gone through and opened up a couple of those regular email campaigns. So now you can see, and I've refreshed this page while the video was paused. Now you can see I've got 2 open rates, or 2 opens, and I've got 0 clicks because there was nothing to click on. So I can view the report here. And we can take a little peek. This is a basic overview. Successful deliveries, 5, 100%. Total opens, 3. Total clicks, 0, 0, because there was nothing to click. No abuse reports, no forwards. Now, the forwarded does not count if somebody just clicks the forward button from within their email campaign. You do actually have to input a forward, this email link into your emails, but that's some information. So we can see when it was opened, some of the top links clicked. Now there are no links within that. Subscribers with the most opens. So it does give you who's opened, some social performance, 1 campaign URL click because I opened it up in the HTML campaign link. Tells me where, well, this is interesting. 1 is from the USA, and I am not in the USA. I actually opened all of these from where I am sitting right now, which is all in Canada. So this information isn't always guaranteed. This is just an estimate, guys. So don't buy into that too much. Now, if we click on activity, we can see who didn't open it. We've got a couple of different email addresses here that did not open. We can see who's bounced, who's unsubscribed, who's complained, because there are no complaint things. We can't take a look at those, but Analytics 360, this is a new one. Analytics tracking was not enabled for this campaign. So this is where you would set up Analytics 360, and I believe this is probably a paid thing. So do keep that in mind. Now, that is about it for for the brief introduction on how to set up your MailChimp campaign, your MailChimp account, and start sending emails out to your list immediately. Obviously, there are a ton of other things that go into creating a successful email campaign that aren't going to be covered in these tutorial videos. These tutorial videos are just to give you a brief overview of the campaigns themselves. Now, I have gone on over a little bit on the time that I wanted to be doing with this one, so I apologize for that, but there are a lot of things within these platforms that I want to be covering off so that you can get a brief overview of whether or not these platforms are going to be right for you. So hopefully that has done that. If MailChimp is, you've watched this and you've decided MailChimp isn't for you, or then go and check out the other videos that I have on the other platforms, or refer back to the original posting on how to choose the best platform for you, so you're not wasting your time with a bunch of platforms that aren't going to be right. Again, that will be available on my blog at trinawaller.com on the blog. So that is going to be it for today. Thanks for watching, and I hope to catch you in another video. We'll see you later, guys.